Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and I have another word to release to you guys today. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Chelsea. I'm back with a word to release to you guys from the Lord. The title of today's word is called You've Got Mail, okay? Open doors and proposals. You've got mail, open doors and proposals. Now y'all, if y'all see me smiling and laughing a lot, it's because I'm sleepy and I laugh a lot when I'm sleepy and I'm tired, okay? And it's currently 9:48 at night and I am sleepy, okay? But I need to go ahead and get this word recorded because I got a lot to do tomorrow and I'm not gonna feel like it. So, I don't know if this word is gonna be long, but Holy Spirit, have your way. I forgot to pray over this word. See, that's how much I'm trying to get this word out. I need to be in the bed, okay? All right, y'all. So let's get into this word. This is coming from a movie that I watched actually tonight. I finished the movie tonight. I started it yesterday on the 23rd, and today's the 24th. And the movie is called You've Got Mail, okay? And it's a movie with Tom Hanks, Dave Chappelle, and I don't know the main character of the lady's real name, but her character name in there is Kelly, okay? Her last name is Kelly. I think her first name was, I don't want to mess up her first name, but her last name was Kelly, so we're going to stick with Kelly, okay? And so I was finished watching this movie today, and there was a lot of things that the Lord was speaking to me through the movie, okay, that I need to get out to y'all. Now, let me just go ahead and say, before I get into this word, that this word is not for anybody that does not know who their God-ordained spouse is, okay? If you do not know who your God-ordained spouse is, I'm not laughing at that, I'm laughing because I'm sleepy. If you do not know who your God-ordained spouse is, this video is not for you. If you are confused about who your God-ordained spouse is and you're not sure this word is not for you, if you have to ask anybody or you're asking around about if anybody else think this could be your God-ordained spouse, then this word is not for you, okay? This word is for those of you who have dealt with a counterfeit, a prodigal, and Lord, I can't think of the other one. Oh, and if you've dealt with false starts with your God-ordained spouse, okay? This word is also for those of you that you have not dealt with a prodigal, a counterfeit, or you've not had false starts with your God-ordained spouse, but God has shown you this was your God-ordained spouse. You had a conversation with them, and then God separated y'all and then told you that you guys would reconcile and be married to one another, okay? That this was your God-ordained spouse, but you have not met this person. You have not seen this person face to face, okay? And it's also for those of you that maybe you have been continuously talking to this person via whatever phone or DM or whatever, but y'all have not met face to face, but y'all have been having continuous conversations, and this word is for you as well, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the word, all right? So the two main characters in this movie, Tom Hanks, his character's name is Joe, and then the other lady's character name, her last name is Kelly, okay? So in the beginning of this movie, you can already tell that they both are with counterfeits, okay? So both of them were with counterfeits. So, but they both were emailing each other via like AOL messages, okay? So they were talking to each other through AOL chat. Both of them were waiting for the person that they was with to leave the house so that they could get on their computers and be messaging each other, okay? And so they were both with counterfeits. As they're chatting, they keep talking to each other, you know, sharing conversation, and then they decide to meet up. Joe asked Kelly if she wanted to meet up. She agreed to meet up, and Joe said, I hope she doesn't have one of those high squeaky voices like the mice on Cinderella, okay? And so this is when I was taking note that this was a word, or could be a word. At this point, I didn't know if it was a word yet, but I felt like it was going to be. So I started jotting this stuff down in my notes. And so when he said that, I hope she doesn't have one of those high squeaky voices like the mice on Cinderella. Let me backtrack. The reason why I brought up the counterfeit situation is because some of y'all dealt with counterfeits, okay, before God revealed to you who your God ordained spouse was, okay? I've never dealt with a counterfeit. I've never dealt with a prodigal or false starts with my God ordained spouse. That's not my story, and I'm not gonna get into my story until it's time for God to allow me to. But some of you have, and now you've walked away from that counterfeit, and now you have been in communication with your God ordained spouse. Okay, I hope I don't have to explain what a God ordained spouse is. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. God ordained spouse, meaning this is the person that God ordained for you to be with before you were formed in your mother's womb, before he was formed in his mother's womb, before the foundations of the earth was created. Okay, God ordained for you to be with this person. Okay, that is your God ordained spouse. Okay, the one and only person that you are supposed to be with. All right. So Joe going to meet her, okay, for the first time. They've been talking for a while on AOL chat. He said, I hope she doesn't have one of those high squeaky voices like the mice on Cinderella. So I talked about Cinderella in one of my last marriage words. So some of you are about to have a Cinderella story, okay? Some of you are, your Prince Charming is about to come and get you. You're about to meet him for the first time. And some of you, it'll be at nighttime up until midnight, okay? We talked about that in my last marriage word. So some of you, that's going to resonate for you about the Cinderella, okay? Then he said, why am I even doing this? And then he said, why am I compelled to even meet her, okay? So for some of you, you have not met, like I said, you have not met your God ordained spouse in person, but you already know that this is your God ordained spouse, okay? So he was questioning, like, why am I doing this? Why am I compelled to even meet her? Like, he had already agreed to it. He's walking along. His friend Dave Chappelle is walking with him. He's about to go meet this woman, and he just stops, and he's like, why am I doing this? Why am I even compelled to meet her? And it's because God was leading him to do so, okay? And so some of your God ordained spouses may be having a moment of doubt. They may be having a moment of, why am I doing this? But it's God that's leading them through it, okay? And they're going to continue to go through with the process, okay? Then Dave Chappelle said, Joe, relax. You're just taking it to the next level, okay? So for some of you, your God ordained spouse is getting ready to take it to the next level, okay? And that next level for some of you is marriage, all right? So in this movie, it was Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I was like, that was my first sign of like, okay, this is, God is talking to me in this movie. And then after that, I saw Dave Chappelle and Tom Hanks walking through these trees, and these trees had Christmas lights on them, okay? And I was like, okay, Lord, you speaking some more. And before I had resumed watching the movie today, I had just seen a woman get proposed to, and I was so happy for her. I was smiling so hard, and I was like about to cry because I was so happy for this woman. And in her proposal picture, she had trees, Christmas lights around trees. And so I was like, I had just saw that. So I was like, okay, Lord, that's even more confirmation. This movie is centered around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I see what I just seen, okay, in photos in this movie happening. And then after that, so I talked about that already. They were walking through the trees. Then Joe said, this woman is the most adorable creature I've ever been in contact with. And if she turns out to be even as good looking as a mailbox, I'd be crazy not to turn my life upside down and marry her. Okay, this is what he said. And so this is representing the fact that your God ordained spouse already is in love with you, okay? Whether you had one conversation with them or whether you had a bunch of conversations with them throughout this process, for those of you who have not seen face-to-face your God ordained spouse, they are already in love with you. And he was saying it didn't matter if she looked like a mailbox. He was going to marry her. He wanted to marry this woman. And so this represents the fact that it's not even about your looks. Like, he's not even worried about that, because what mailbox you know look good? Like, who looking at a mailbox like that? He just saying, like, he loves her already, so it don't even matter what she looks like. This man is already in love with her. She can look like a mailbox. He still want to marry her. Okay, so then he goes in and he sees the woman sitting down. Okay, there's something I didn't skip, so now I gotta explain more. They knew each other in real life, okay, but they didn't know that they were chatting to each other. Okay, they both lived with counterfeits, and they didn't know that they were chatting each other. They knew each other in real life. The reason why they knew each other in real life is because the man was a businessman and the other lady was a business owner, and they were kind of in feud about a certain business situation where he started a business next, like across the street from hers, and basically he was about to put her out of business. So they didn't like each other in real life, but they didn't know that they were chatting each other. Okay, and so as she was sitting waiting for him to appear because they had agreed to meet, Dave Chappelle told Joe that it was the lady that he didn't like. And so he was like, he gonna leave her there. And so he started to walk away as if like he wasn't gonna, show up. He was just gonna leave her in there. And he had already said before to Dave, when they was like working out in this movie, he had already told Dave that she was beautiful. But he didn't say anything about, liking her or nothing like that, because they were into it because of this business thing that was going on. She was on the news talking about him and stuff like that. And Dave Chappelle was like, oh, I bet she don't look, as beautiful in person. And he was like, Joe was like, oh no, she does, or something like that. But it was never no, I'm interested in her type of vibes. So when Dave Chappelle told Joe that it was Kelly that was in a coffee shop, he was like, well, if you don't like Kelly, then you're not going to like this woman that's here or whatever. And then he ended up telling her that it was Kelly. And so he was like, I'm not going in, I'm going to just leave her there. So he started walking away. And then the camera cut to Kelly inside the coffee shop. And then he actually did show up. But he didn't tell Kelly that he was the one she'd been waiting on to come through the door, okay? So he comes in and he starts sitting at her table, start questioning her, basically like antagonizing her, like just messing with her, nitpicking at her or whatever. And she kept asking him to leave because she's like, I'm waiting for somebody, yada yada yada. And what happened after that? I think he ended up leaving or whatever. So after she believed that she was stood up by this man that she's been chatting, which was Joe, but she didn't know that, and he didn't until, Dave told her, and then he walked in and seen her. So Kelly emailed him back or chatted him back, and she said, the odd thing about this communication is that you're more likely to talk about nothing than something. But I just want to say that all this nothing has meant more to me than so many somethings. So thanks. This is what she was telling Joe. And so this is God saying that for those of you that have not been in communication with your God ordained spouse, but he's getting ready to come back to you, this is your God ordained spouse saying the no communication has meant more to them than communication that they have had with other people, whether there was other counterfeits in the past or just regular conversations. The no communication has been worth so much more. It has meant more to them than with communication with other people. And so for those of you that are in communication with your God ordained spouse, they are saying whatever y'all could be talking about. It could be your favorite color. It don't even matter. Like the little things that maybe seem like nothing conversations have meant more to them than them talking to other people or talking to another counterfeit that they was with in the past. And so then he was getting ready to chat her back. He was trying to come up with a lie as into why he didn't show up, but he did show up. He just didn't want to tell her that it was him. And it seems like at the coffee shop, he was trying to reveal it by way of talking like kind of like how he talked in the email, but she wasn't catching on. And so he mentioned the number 38, saying like he got stuck on the 38th floor and stuff like that, making up this lie. And so I stopped the movie because God has spoken to me about the number 38. I done told y'all this twice already. And so the number 38 means sanctified. And so I was like, Lord, what else is this number 38? Because I'm seeing this right now in this movie. And so I looked up scripture, and he brought me to Revelations 3 and 8. That was the scripture that came up. So Revelation 3 and 8 says, I know your works, okay? Sanctified. Now we know that our works don't get us into heaven, but that's not what we're talking about in this word. So God is saying, I know your works, meaning you've been sanctified for whatever process you went through. He says, see, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Okay? So God is saying that this door for this proposal, for this marriage is open for you. Okay? The communication is here for a lot of you, and the open door for marriage is here for a lot of you. Okay? Um, and after I seen this scripture for the number 38, I literally went to, go to resume the movie, because when you pause a movie, it goes to like another screen because it's been waiting, it's been sitting for a while. So all I did was hit the OK button so that I can get back to the screen, and then you got to press play again to play the movie. I didn't press play yet, and I looked and I saw that it was paused at 11:444 as the time that's already been by of the movie, and then the time left said 444, open door. I just read y'all the scripture about open door, and so I'm gonna insert that picture so y'all can see the numbers, and then I'm gonna come back. So in that clip, it's got 11 at the forefront on the left side, and then 444 right after that. And so 11 means promise and transition, the promise of marriage. I just told y'all this in another one of my last marriage words, that the promise of marriage is already here for those of you that have been waiting on to be married to your God ordained spouse. Okay, a lot of you will be getting November, okay, number 11, proposals. Some of y'all will be getting proposals. It don't matter if it's 6 or 7 days left in the month. Some of y'all will be receiving November proposals. Okay, some of you, it could be in this 11th hour. Okay, this could be coming up soon for you. Okay, some of y'all, it will be Christmas proposals. Okay, but yeah, that's the point when I knew that this was a word to release to you guys, because I had already wrote it down a lot, but I still didn't know if this was a word until I saw that, and I was like, oh Lord, you definitely is telling me that this is a word for your people. So yeah, I saw that, and then after that, Joe was still chatting her, okay, and he said to her, you were expecting to see someone you trusted and met the enemy instead. The fault is mine. Okay, your God ordained spouse, they know you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so for who this applies to, maybe you had a false start before, or maybe your God ordained spouse did something to cause this separation, and they know that it was them that was in the wrong, and they're saying like, you were expecting to, be in communication or meet somebody that you trusted, and they showed you their evil side. They showed you the devil. They didn't show up as the person that is supposed to be your God ordained spouse. Okay, and so they know that, and they know that it was their fault, and this just means that some of them are coming with apologies for whatever it is that they had did to you or said to you. Okay, then he said, meanwhile, I'm still here, talk to me. Okay, so he was saying basically that he's going to explain it later. So this is what God is saying. When your God ordained spouse comes back to communicate with you, they will explain later. Like, they may apologize, but they may not go into the situation. They may not go into what happened. So don't pressure them to talk about it. They will in due time, okay? But, accept them, receive them, accept their apology. At this point, if you still holding a grudge, then I don't even know why y'all talking. But God is just saying, receive them. They're going to apologize for whatever it is they did wrong, but don't be trying to bring it up and talk about it and all that. They will when they get to it, okay? And then after that, there was a point in the movie when she said she was going to have to close her store. A lady she was having dinner with said, closing the store is a brave thing to do. The lady said, you are daring to imagine that you could have a different life. She said, I know it doesn't feel like that. You feel like a big fat failure now, but you're not. You are marching into the unknown, armed with nothing. But in reality, she was going to be armed with something, and she was going to be armored with the armor of God, okay? And so this is God speaking to someone. He's saying that there is a door that you need to close before you can actually have that open door that I just talked about with the 444 in Revelations 3 and 8. There's a door that needs to be closed in your life before you can step into this open door of marriage, or step into this, open door of this proposal from your God ordained spouse. And the open door, you guys, is not just about proposals, okay? For some of you, these proposals are other things. These are business opportunities, these are connections, these are contracts coming your way. The proposal does not just stop at wedding and marriage proposals, okay? Some of you will be receiving huge proposals, okay, where you need to be reading over contracts and stuff like that. So there's a door that you need to close in your life before you can receive this proposal, whether it's a marriage proposal or another proposal, okay? You know what this door is, okay? So I'm not going to even try to go into what this could be. If you're watching this word, you know what door needs to be closed before you can receive that open door, okay? And so that is for somebody, all right? Do not be afraid, because you will be walking with the armor of God. Read Ephesians 6, okay? The word of God, and you will be fine if you are walking with the Lord. Armor yourself up, okay? Like I said, read Ephesians 6, Psalms 91 as well. Like, close the door and move forward, okay, so that you can walk into that open door, okay? Then Kelly, so Kelly, her counterfeit's name was Frank, okay? And Kelly and Frank realized they didn't love each other, even though they looked like they were so right for each other on the outside. They even laughed at knowing who it was that he really liked. She had no hard feelings about it. He asked her if there was someone else, and she said no. There was a dream of someone else. Okay, so she was saying, no, there's no one else, but there's a dream of someone else, because she had already encountered her God-ordained spouse. And because she had encountered her God-ordained spouse, she was just like, because of things, they hadn't met in person yet. Well, they did, but she didn't know who he was, even though he found out. Because she had this encounter with her God-ordained spouse, she was like, she's fine with, the relationship, not being together. They both didn't love each other, okay? So that could have been a situation for some of you that were with a counterfeit. You don't love this person, they don't love you, or even if the other person does love you, you know that's not your God-ordained spouse, and that God has already shown you who your God-ordained spouse is, and you need to leave and you need to go, okay? Now, later on in this movie, they got stuck in an elevator, okay? So Joe, which is the God-ordained husband, got stuck in an elevator with his counterfeit, okay? And they were in there with this man and another woman, probably two women and another man. And I think it was a man, a woman, and then Joe and his counterfeit. And they got stuck in the elevator, and a man said if he gets off, he's going to marry the woman he was with. And he didn't know why it took him so long. Then Joe said to Kelly, when he was chatting, he had got out the elevator at this point. They had been in the elevator for a long time. So when he got home, he started to chat Kelly, okay? And he said he wished he was as lucky as him because the other guy had his mind made up. Plus, he already knew that he was chatting Kelly, but she didn't know she was chatting Joe. So in reality, he was saying that he wished he could marry Kelly, okay? So the man in the elevator had said, because they had spent all this time in there, they had nothing but time to think. And the guy was like, when he gets out the elevator, he's going to go marry the woman he's with. And Joe was just telling Kelly, like, I wish that was me, because he knows who Kelly is, and he wished that he could marry her. But unfortunately, at this point in the movie, she doesn't know that she's talking to Joe, and in real life, they don't like each other. And in real life, every time one of them would see the other person, they was hiding their face from the other person, okay? Because at this point in the movie, they were like basically feuding, like I said, over a business thing that was going wrong, right? And so his business that he opened across the street was causing her to have to close hers down. So they didn't like each other. Every time they seen each other, they would hide their faces. They didn't want to be seen by each other. And so after that, the lady ended up having to close her business, right? So when she was closing her business down, she was, taking time to look and remember all the things or whatever about this place, because her mother had passed the business down to her. Okay, it wasn't necessarily God's will for her, but it was passed down to her, and that's why God allowed the business to be closed. And this is how He's revealing it to me for you guys. He allowed the business to be closed because He had something different for her in life, and so she was just kind of like, memorizing everything, and then she closed the door or whatever. When she closed the door had the number 42 on it. It was saying something about thank you for being in business with us for 42 years or something like that. So like I said, there's a door that needs to be closed for some of you. You have to close that door before you can walk into the open door for whoever that part of the word is for. So the number 42 in Strong's Greek means a holy or sanctified state. Okay? Just like the number 38, you cannot be sanctified in this number 42, a holy or sanctified state. God is trying to get you to a sanctified state, but in order to do that, you need to close that door, okay, before you can move on to whatever else that God has for you next. For some of you, that next is going to be that proposal, that marriage, that business, whatever it is, okay? That other proposal, whatever that looks like for you, okay? But the door has to be closed first. Okay, so then later on in the movie, Joe is on a boat with his dad. Joe is a multimillionaire in this movie. Joe on a boat with his dad. He's talking to his dad. His dad has been married like 3 or 5 times by different women. He got different kids and stuff like that. Joe is fixing him and his dad a drink, and his dad don't even remember who his son's mom is, Joe's mom. He don't even remember. He started naming women that was the nannies, okay? And Joe was kind of like, like, really? And when he's talking to his dad, he's talking about, what was it? Oh, he had like an aha moment, kind of what I talked about in my other word when I talked about they are coming strong. He had this aha moment when he was talking to his dad about, like, his dad said something about, like, he ain't never been with a woman that like brought him peace and joy or something like that. He was like, have you ever seen me with a woman, that brought me that or something like that? And it was like dawned on him, like, I don't want that type of life that he had. I want somebody, that brings me joy. So then he left there, right? So let me just read what I wrote in the notes. Joe had an aha moment while talking to his dad that made him realize where he needed to be. He went to Kelly's house, and she didn't want to let him up from the speaker. But another man walked up and unlocked the door because he lived there, and Joe walked right on in. Okay, so Kelly was talking about how she's sick and she coughing and doing all this on the speaker. She has to buzz him up, and she didn't want him to go. She was basically telling him to leave or whatever. And while she's talking, a man unlocks the door because he stays in the complex or wherever it is. He stayed there too, and he walks in, and Joe just follows him and walks on in, okay? So you guys, backtrack. When he first showed up at the door, he showed up with flowers in his hand, okay? Like I was talking about in my last marriage word with the Cinderella story, and how some of them are coming to your door with flowers, okay? And so I'm going to insert that clip too, because I had paused the movie and took a screenshot of that so that y'all could see that part of the picture of him standing with the flowers. So that's what he was doing. He was coming to Kelly to get her the flowers. So he goes up there because he already got in. This is God saying that your God ordained spouse is already here. There's nothing you can do to stop the process from moving forward. It doesn't matter if you're fearful, if you're scared, you can't stop it. The door has already been opened. The door has already been opened, okay? 38, Revelations 38, and the number 444. The man opened the door, Joe walked in, okay? The door's already been opened. You can't stop it. You can't even keep it closed if you wanted to. So then Joe shows up at her actual apartment door, or wherever, her condo, wherever she was staying. He knocks on the door, and she's shocked that he even got in. Okay, she's shocked, and she not even ready. She not even prepared. Her house dirty. She got tissues everywhere because she actually was sick. And so she's like grabbing all her tissues and cups and mugs and stuff. She had on her pajamas. The girl wasn't ready, okay? But even if the fact that she wasn't ready wasn't gonna stop the fact that the man was here. The man had arrived, Okay, your God ordained spouse is coming, whether you together or not. So it's best that you just be together. Okay, it's best that you be together. Okay, because he came in, and after she, tried to clean up a little bit, her place was still looking a mess. She put on this like trench coat or jacket or whatever and tied it up. Then he comes in, he starts talking to her or whatever. This girl still don't know that this is the person that she been chatting with or whatever. He comes because, he realized that, he really wants to be with this woman, but he still hasn't revealed to her who he is, okay? So some of them may be coming back, not expressing everything right up front, but just know it's going to take them some time, okay? But they are showing up and they are coming, okay? And so, they had their little conversation. He talking about how he just came to want to be friends. Again, he's still talking to her a little bit about like how he talked in the emails, but she's still not getting it. She didn't get it at the coffee shop. She wasn't getting it when he was in her house. She still wasn't getting it. Like who he was presenting himself in the real world, not the chats. She couldn't see the other side of him. She couldn't see that this is the person that she's been talking to, that she's in love with. And so there was a moment in there when Joe was like, she was about to insult him, and he put his hands over her mouth, and he was like, I know I bring out the worst in you. And so your kingdom spouse is going to know you. He's going to know what may tick you, what may push your buttons and all of that. Okay, but they not going to just bring out the worst. They're going to bring out the best in you. They should be bringing out the best in you, okay? But that doesn't mean that they don't know you or that they won't bring out other sides of you, because this is your God-ordained spouse, okay? So there's going to be times where you're going to have to watch yourself, okay? You're going to have to watch yourself, okay? And then, what I say, he knocked on her door and she was not ready, okay? She had on pajamas, she was trying to clean up. Okay, so yes, that is the gist of what I'm going to talk about in here, because I'm not going to talk about the rest of the movie. If you want to watch the rest of the movie, you can watch the rest of the movie. It's called You've Got Mail. Okay, so expect communication from your God-ordained spouse. Expect to be ready. Expect for him to be showing up at your door, okay, whether you like it or not. Expect the open doors for this proposal. Whether that's November or the upcoming Christmas. Like I said, this is a Thanksgiving Christmas movie, which I thought it was just going to be a love movie, and it ended up being other stuff in this movie. But yes, guys, God wants you to know that the door is already open. He's already on his way to you. And for some of you, that's another thing I needed to mention, that he's already in your city. He's already moved. He's already where you're at, for who this is for, the part of this word. You'll know if it's for you. But he's already in your city. He's already where you're at, and he's literally about to come to you, okay? He's about to come to you. All right. In this movie, it was really hard for Kelly to see that this was a man that she was in love with, because of, how things were looking like with Joe, in the real world, because they were feuding. And so God also is saying, don't look at them from the past or what they may have done a week ago. If you're in communication with them, however long ago it was, forgive them, okay? Because they're desperately wanting you to see them for the man of God that they are. They desperately want that. And he was trying to talk how he talked in the email, but the wordplay, she wasn't getting it, because all she could see was, this other person that she didn't like, who she had met first, okay? She didn't know that this is the man that she is in love with, okay? But yeah, the movie goes on and on and on. I didn't even wrap up the movie, because if you want to watch it, you can watch it. I'm not going to tell the ending. But it was hard for me to get into this movie. So I usually give movies about 10 to 20 minutes, and after that, I turn it off. But for some reason, I don't know if I was busy doing something or what, but I let it play a little bit longer. And when they had their first encounter, that's when the movie started getting good. So if you one of them, maybe it may take you a long time to get into a movie. That was a movie that it took me a while to get into, so give it 30 minutes, okay, if you got 30 minutes before. But yeah, it's a good movie, so finish watching the movie, y'all. But yes, expect the communication. You've got mail. This person is coming to communicate with you. He's going to show up at your door. Yeah, some of y'all are about to receive y'all's proposals. Some of y'all are about to have y'all Cinderella story, okay? I'm excited for whoever this word is for. And that is it, you guys. I will see y'all in the next video, and y'all have a blessed day. Bye.